Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the travel day video in the Bandon Dunes series, as we got some B-roll of Kyle getting tagged by security for, I think, a pair of scissors or something left in his backpack. This video is really just going to be travel day, some B-roll clips that maybe don't make it into videos from the courses. This is obviously flying into the Eugene airport, which is actually quite a nice flight. Over the course of this one, I'll break down some of the factors that went into Kyle and I choosing to go to Bandon in December. We actually had just gone in April and decided to go back and do a little bit of a cheaper trip. Just as fun. We played some really interesting rounds of golf, a lot of which will be on video in later episodes. But just want to break down why we chose to go into December and some of the conditions that you can expect to see if you choose to make a Bandon December trip. I know a lot of people look at Bandon as being this kind of once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it really doesn't need to be viewed that way, in my opinion. There are plenty of ways to do this trip relatively budget-friendly, which I'll go into later in this episode, but it doesn't need to be looked at as this holy grail type of vacation, even though I feel like it still has somewhat of a reputation as being that way. Obviously, if you've stumbled onto this video and you've been to Bandon one or more times, you understand this may not be the video for you. That's probably coming next week with the first of the on-course stuff. But if you haven't been to Bandon, you're thinking about going, I hope that this video is another nice little nudge pushing you to making the trip out to Oregon and seeing this place. It really is unlike anything I've experienced in golf so far. There's a reason Kyle and I went twice in the span of 8 months and are making December trips basically a yearly thing going forward. It really is an absolutely incredible experience from top to bottom, and I honestly think that anyone who loves golf, even a small amount, should do their best to get out to Oregon once and see this property and all that it has to offer.
Yeah, it's not really this. It seems like it, because like Oregon, you know, Eugene, Portland, maybe Bend. Yeah. So you're like Bandon. I've never heard of that. Southern Oregon.
So right now, obviously, lots of B-roll of the drive. The drive is really cool, even when it's not raining and all kind of gloomy like this. I'm going to talk over a lot of it just because we had the music playing. It's kind of profanity laden, which is a little bit crass, and realistically the music will probably get copyrighted if I let it play so long. But essentially the drive from Eugene to Bandon is roughly about 2.5 hours, depending on how many cars you come into contact, traffic, etc. We had to drive a little bit slower because of the road conditions, as you see in these videos, but 2.5 hours from Eugene Airport, really nothing to sneeze at. We ended up pulling into Bandon Dunes before 2 p.m., which, as you'll see in a bit, gave us plenty of time to take care of some non-golf activities, and we even got to hit the driving range and play a little pitch and putt.
They ask me what I do and who I do it for.
And I'm gonna give it to
Come up with this shit in the studio.
Oh, that fish and chips. Boy, I'm fish and chips and
All I want for my birthday.
yeah, I don't know. Figure it out. Shepherd's pie. Or like meatloaf. Meatloaf and chili. They got fucking. I'm only farting I'm sleeping in the shower. Me too, and it's because I'm got a big boat. It's someone call a big boat. Yeah, you sleep in the shower because you're just gonna be a funnel to the drain. It's gonna look like gravy's coming out the way it went in, red and hot, a little bloody. The way it came in, a little bloody.
So the first thing you need to know about going to Bandon is that they do their rates based on whether you are considered a resort guest or not. If you're a resort guest, it means you are staying on property in one of their room types, and they give you a discounted rate for that, which will be broken down in just a second. If you are staying in the city of Bandon, you're driving in, you are considered a day guest, and you will pay a little bit more. So for December, you are looking at $110 if you are a resort guest, which we were for this trip. and a replay rate, which is obviously if you are able to play a second round of golf in the day, you pay half price. So we were paying $55, so a total of $165 per day. You'll see here that June through September, you're looking at $350 for your first round of golf, just in general. So we're already paying half of that price to play 2 rounds of golf in one day. We were able to squeeze in 36 holes per day every day that we tried to. Sunlight was really not an issue in the winter, even though some people tend to argue it might be. These are the rates for if you are not staying on property, if you're considered a day guest. Obviously, June through September goes up to $400 with a $200 replay rate. November and December still sits around $160 and $80, so definitely still cheaper to play in December, but you are paying maybe about $100 more, $80 more than you would if you were to be staying on property. This next little bit is the rate of the hotel room that we stayed at on property. Kyle and I stayed in the Forest King, which was located at the Inn, which is one of 7 properties that they have on site. One of the things Kyle and I decided to do to save a little money, and because it was the only available room, was we actually stayed in the Forest King, which is just a room with 1 king bed, so we did share a bed. It's not gay. There's nothing weird about it. It was just considerably cheaper to do a Forest King, which Forest King in 2023 on screen is the 2024 rates. Forest King was $120 a night, so $60 a person, versus we're looking at $100 a person for the Forest Double. And like I said, the Forest Double was not available. So right there, we're already saving about $60 to $80 a night, which goes a long way to helping pay for rounds of golf, travel, rental car, gas, food on site, merch at the pro shop, and all the standard stuff that comes with a destination golf trip. So now we got a time lapse of the drive into the Bandon Dunes Resort, which is just a really cool wooded drive. Takes probably about a mile or two. Usually you'll see some deer or some wild turkey or something along the way. This is coming after Kyle and I stopped off at Beverage Barn, which I think is the only liquor store in town. As with Oregon, you got to buy your hard liquor at a liquor store as opposed to a grocery store. And we also stopped off at a grocery store to pick up 2 pounds of beef jerky from Ray's Butcher. Absolutely phenomenal beef jerky. And if you are stopping in Bandon, you've got to stop by the grocery store and grab some beef jerky. One of the other things a lot of people don't know about traveling to Bandon Dunes is that there are tons of hiking trails. There's trails down to the beach, there's trails through the woods, there's trails to where we are right now, which is the Labyrinth. It's a really cool little walking trail. It's not too difficult to get to or find as long as you follow the original sign that puts you on the trail. And something cool if you're maybe going with a couple people who don't golf, or you are traveling with some people who don't want to play 2-3 rounds of golf a day, like some of the golf sickos who go there and just golf from sun up to sundown. It's a nice break in the action for some of those people. And then, of course, we have the Bandon Dunes practice facility, which is probably one of the best practice facilities that I have gotten to experience in my golfing career, I guess we'll call this so far. It's got a north and a south range. It's got a snack bar. They have a barbecue food truck named Charlotte's that is out there every morning serving up brisket burritos and brisket sandwiches and all sorts of stuff you need to get your day going if you're out there early. So Kyle and I were the only people out on the range. It's probably 3:30 in the afternoon right now. Only people out. It was a little bit rainy all day, so I don't know exactly how high the turnout was for people's rounds. It's definitely nice to get loose after a big travel day like that without playing a full round of golf or anything that's any type of seriously competitive between you and the rest of the people you came with. And one of the coolest things about the Bandon Dunes driving range is the south course, or the south range, has a 9-hole pitch and putt built around the perimeter. And so when you are using the North Range, like Kyle and I are here, that 9-holer, which is now named Charlotte's, is actually open for groups to just go out and play pitch and putt, and you kind of pick where you're going to tee off from, and you play to the first green, and then you pick your tee box for 2, play to the 2 green, and you play this 9-hole little pitch and putt. For anyone who's played that course in the past, you might know it as Shorty's, which is now being renamed into the new 19-hole short course being opened by the resort in the next couple months. And so they've gone ahead and renamed Shorty's to Charlotte's. And a little backstory with that is that Charlotte was actually Shorty Dowd, the original caretaker of the property. Charlotte was his wife. So they've got a course named after his wife. They've got a course named after Shorty, and they definitely like to hold true to some of the people who were with the resort and the courses from the very beginning. So now we're picking up over on the first green at the short course Charlotte's. I dealt with a lot of corrupted files over the course of this first day, so I don't have nearly as much content as was filmed out at Charlotte's, but I'm just going to include some of the clips to give you guys an idea. It's absolutely something I'd recommend doing while you are at Bandon. If you see that the South Range is closed, everyone's using the North one, hop out, play Charlotte's. It was one of the more fun golf experience I've had. We had wild turkeys in view. We had deer joining us on like the 5th or 6th green. It was really just an awesome experience, and we're the only people in the entire practice facility, so we had the whole things to ourselves. And it was just a ton of fun to just be out there walking around in the middle of the woods, animals around us, not a care in the world, phones don't have service, and just experiencing another aspect of what makes this Bandon Dunes Golf Resort so special. All right, good pee.
Yeah, that's how the kind of That's how part of the whole concept of reverse golf courses started. Is you'd have a guy with 2 acres, and they would build, 6 tees, 3 greens. We can tee off the flat stuff. I don't care about that really. Grass or the hole? Oh yeah.
I should point out it's a lot less of a pitch and putt and more of a normal par 3 course. The first hole we played was like 130 yards. This next hole plays 160. I think the third hole plays 180. So it's a legitimate par 3 course. You just don't have a scorecard. You're really just playing match play or closest to the pin with your buddies. You're not keeping a score for par. You can't log this one for your handicap or anything. It's just it's purely fun.
Yeah.
Not that it matters. Turn in. It might be too much. Ooh. You know what? I'm down to finally play on some fucking holes where the ball sticks.
Yeah. I know, we've had some screwy rounds at Power Ranch.
There's a deer out there. See him?
Now, which one do you want to hit to now? Because I think we can kind of pick. Actually, no. We'll hit to the white.
But you gotta be mindful, some of these are like the driving ranges.
Well, none of it's the driving range today. That's why Shorty's is open.
So does this one go to the blue flag or does this one go to the white one?
I think it probably goes to the white.
I don't want to walk all the way out the blue, but
Yeah. Let's go to the white. Because then there's a tee box over there.
yeah, then we just walk it back and go to the
Oh man, dude, I do not want to step off this course.
I know.
All right, P to P. So for those of you guys wondering what we were just talking about, when you play off the north range like we were today, the south range plays as this little chip and putt, and that is why we were able to be out here today. Although he kind of didn't really tell us a yes or a no, and it kind of had misleading signals, but here we are. Let's shoot it. It's P to P. We got probably 2 holes left.
So I'm saying it's P to P. Kyle and I are playing a little match game type round of pig. Essentially, whoever wins the first hole
I got 172.
gets nothing. Whoever loses the first hole gets a P. You lose the second hole, you get an I. First to spell out pig loses. So Kyle and I have each lost a hole. We're both sitting at P to P.
Perfect number, it's just long. Or it's just right. bunker, baby.
Hits, bro. That was a good shot.
We can barely see it too. You find the ball?
I'm able.
You find yours?
No.
Ah. Net zero. .133 wind at the back.
Backs hurt.
Really?
Backs hurt. Carrying his bag.
133 wind at the back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's short of bunker, hopefully. Yeah. At least my gloves are getting clean.
Huh?
I'm gonna throw up.
On the green.
Yeah. Yeah, it clips on the handle pretty nice.
So this ends up being Kyle and I's last little hole
That's
of
my
our
thought process.
makeshift pitch and putt match. It's about to be dark. We have not eaten since the Oakland airport during our layover at 6 in the morning.
Alright,
And
guys,
we're
throw
kind
all
of
the
excited to get over to Bunker Bar, get into McGee's,
For an
get some
entire
drinks
pint
going,
of
get some
Guinness.
food going, and get the night started.
Scotch and Guinness after this.
Yeah, you're awake. I'd already committed to letting it go. That wind gets you.
It's actually a good ranch.
Yeah, it's a good ranch. It's a good ranch.
Yeah, it's a good ranch.
All right, so here we are in McGee's. As you saw, we had some fish and chips, some meatloaf. We actually came back here 3 hours later and got pizza after we had a couple drinks over at Bunker Bar, which is where we are now. Bunker Bar is built under the original hotel by the Bandon Dunes Clubhouse. Really awesome spot to just go hang out, smoke cigars, drink some whiskey, play some pool, or they got poker chips, they got cards. Some of the nights that we were in here, there were 3 different card games going, people betting on pool. It's really just a fun experience.
It's pretty bad.
When Kyle and I were out here our first trip, there was a father-son that we were playing with at Pacific Dunes, and they talked about how fun it is to come out to Oregon and see how many other crazy assholes there are like you who are just golf obsessed, playing golf from sunup to sundown, and then drinking and then going back to golf the next morning, and it really is just a fun dude experience of just drinking, eating, playing golf, and sleeping. And now Kyle and I are back at the inn, which is where our room was, and we actually had a couple deer crossing our walkway on the way up, which is another just awesome thing about being in the woods like you are at Bandon, is there's no shortage of wildlife. We had wild turkeys on Bandon trails, deer in front of our hotel room, deer on pretty much every course all the time, it feels like. And especially being from the desert in Arizona where you don't get to see a lot of stuff like this, it's really a really nice change in the scenery, change in the vibes. And with that, that's actually going to wrap up the Bandon Travel Day video. We'll be picking it up at the next video with our first day of actual golf, where we had Old Mac in the morning, Bandon Trails in the afternoon. Going to get into the point system as far as how Kyle and I are going to be competing over the next couple days, and we will be back to on-course action. Thanks to everyone for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.